Hello, guys. It's a Tuesday.
The two of us have not been in the studio since I think before
Mexico.
Before Mexico.
Maybe we actually know.
Maybe we had a little minute.
I think we came back and
it's hard to lose. It's losing
honest to
track of
God.
time.
Oh.
And I just saw. I was looking on the calendar because my Tucker's in grade 8, and so my husband was like, "Is there grade 8 graduation?" I have no idea, but I looked at the calendar and I see like before we know it, it's like we've got this Easter weekend coming up. I think it's like. Is it like the 9th?
No, 17th.
Okay, that's still a minute
18th.
away. And then in between there, we have dance comps, which we just came off a dance comp window. We can talk a little bit dance comp also, but I'm like to my husband, he's like, "When's the next dance comp?" and yada yada. And he's like, "Oh, you're gonna need help with that. We have a Pittsburgh baseball tournament." I'm like, "Okay, I need to know this."
The
Like,
same weekend?
So we're in the month
Of the
dance comp and the baseball tournament. I need this in my calendar.
Yeah, you do.
I mean, we're really good at flying by the seat of our pants. Thank God we don't have breakdowns. But like, okay, so if someone's got a baseball tournament and I don't drive on the highway, and we're at the same dance school, which is brilliant. But we don't end up with the same times because one's old and one's young.
I know. And I used to be there a lot more because she was full time.
Mm-hmm.
So there was more, like the full time kids seem to go like so much more. So now I'm part time, so I get to go less, which is amazing.
I know.
It's amazing.
I have to say, we were just at this dance competition, and sometimes you're like, we've been doing this for so long. Like, are you still like sometimes you question, like, am I still relevant? Do people still like the content? Are people still listening?
Yeah.
Just sometimes especially when we're not on tour. On tour, there's that constant reminder. These people were selling out these theaters where they're telling us all this stuff. So it. Dance comp, these women, I mean, it's like every step they're like, "Oh my God, I love your podcast." Men, I am a man and I think you two are hilarious.
I know.
I love when they say that. You know that? I'm like, "Oh, you're not bothered by some of the things we say?" Because some people can be offended by some things we say, especially when we're talking about men and like stuff. He's like, "No, it's funny." Immediately, I know you have a good sense of humor.
Yeah. I think so too.
And they're also nice, and they come, they're like, "I don't normally do this, and I just want you to know, like, you got me
so nice." Even though I was like sounded like a man for half of it, I was like, I don't even want to breathe on you because I'm feeling like.
But they also knew that you were sick,
And I know.
They follow.
I was just like, I was in a like fever dream at comp. You kind of like go and you're like in your head because it is a whirlwind, and when you have little kids, their costumes are more intricate, so they need help with buttoning and changing and pinning, and like it's like you are in between. After they finish their dance, you race back and go find them, and then you're like they're stripping them off their sweaty little bodies, but they're stuck on their sweaty little bodies because costumes fit like
even Taylor's sweaty little body. It was hard to get things on and off.
It's like the costume. It's like rubber. Mm-hmm. It's like rubber on a wet body, and you're like, "Oh my God, this is not coming off." Like you're ripping off a layer of skin. So no, it was a whirlwind. It was really fun though. It was a whirlwind.
You're like, every time I saw Chloe, because like you're walking in and out and they're going in and out of rehearsals and it's really like hectic, but every time I saw Chloe, she looked like just so happy, just like, hey Natalie, like
she
just like walking by.
Loves competition.
Yeah, she didn't look stressed. She looked like she was having fun. She had her girls. Felt like she was independent. She was just, it was really fun. And you know what I also like about those situations is you end up, there's a lot of time in between. So you could sometimes just like you hang out with your own team, but the way how it often goes, I'll end up sitting beside some mom, meeting them. And yet again, I got that opportunity to have conversations with women who have kids older than mine, which I really liked. We always liked that, even when our kids were babies, we were like, "What's it like?" Like Lindsay Sokornik,
Yeah,
she was like a mom. She had 4 kids. They were a little bit older. Just like to watch them and see what it's like to ask questions. So I remember when they were just becoming teenagers, and I was asking the moms about partying and drinking in the house and going to parties and boyfriends and all that kind of stuff. And I got the ear of like, a lot of these women have kids that are away at university, or like they're stopped dancing, still dancing.
I know.
And these moms, you can just sit there and ask them anything, and it's like a level playing field when you're moms. You can just talk about anything,
especially when you're dance comp for hours and hours
And we had
hours and hours
also,
and hours.
I mean, you're like me, but we're not common that all of our kids come and watch. Grandparents, dad, like there's a lot of dads who don't come. No skin off.
There was a ton of dads at this one.
A lot more dads, but still like a lot of dads that don't come, and like siblings. Like I saw so many people and I'm like, I don't even consider that. I'm like, oh, where are your other kids? Oh, they're at home, whatever. That they would not consider coming to watch their sister dance.
Yeah, I guess.
At all. And I thought about it a lot this time because one of the moms said, I feel like my husband's a deadbeat. He's never been to one of these, because he didn't think it was important to come and watch. And I think that a lot of dads think, oh, that's a girl thing or whatever. I'm not going to come watch. And then the siblings are like, that's boring.
Oh, yeah, Mark came, Max came.
Yes.
Mark came to every dance.
Yeah.
And
like, I mean, how important actually is that, you know?
Very.
It is.
Yeah.
But I think you can easily not think about it, but it can also be the kind of thing that little girl can turn to you a bunch of years later, but you never came to watch the one thing I did.
I know. And it is easier when it's live streamed.
Yeah.
It is really hard because dance, they have like different, it's basically, if you don't get there, it's a 120-second dance. And if it runs early, like timing it is very difficult. So you kind of have to commit to like an extended amount of time because they're so, it's a flex schedule, but you go and you're like, wow, it was so fast. Like they get on and they're like, wow, you just danced for 8 months for that. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Like it is so
It's a lot
crazy.
easier to show up to a hockey game that happens multiple times a week.
Also, they are on constantly for an hour. It's not like they're on.
It's really hard. It's
like,
really hard. It's really easy to fuck up and miss something.
You're on for a 12-hour day.
Yeah.
And you really are dancing for, I want to say 4 minutes total, five or 6 minutes.
And the live stream is really, really helpful, but you also need to know what number you're at because if you, let's say you like go to the bathroom and then you come back, but I
bought a book. I finally bought the damn program.
I can't tell you how helpful that was for me.
I know. So I bought the damn program.
Worth every penny.
I never bought the damn program. I bought the program because everyone kept being like, what number are you at? What number is she? I was like, I kept asking someone, can I borrow your thing? Can I borrow your thing? So then I was like, okay, I'm done.
I will forever spend $25 on a piece of paper moving forward. It was, I mean, that thing had been used. I took Cat's because Cat had one and then
I was done. So I'm like, take this one.
I bought it. Note, those parents that have those programs are actually smart. It's worth it.
It took you till your last year of dance to figure it out. And then the everyone writes down the scores because this is the first competition where they've said scores in the like the actual numbers for each dance.
Saying like the color, gold.
Yeah, like, but gold, you wouldn't know it was within a range, right? So you would know within a range where they were, and then you get the scores later on. Holy shit. I mean, I was trying to explain.
Yes.
Someone's like, I don't get it. I'm like,
who are you trying to explain to?
What grandparent? I'm like, don't even bother.
We sat at the dinner table last night and they're like, so wait. So it's all in the 90s, but the difference, it's like those little points are like, they're like goals. I was talking about hockey. Those little like 4 point this, that is a huge difference between 90.
So I said she was like, it can't be this complicated. I'm like, no, it is this complicated. And then they sat through one, like, never mind. Like I couldn't even grasp what level, and then what time, part-time, senior, junior, mid. Oh my God. It's like trying to find, it's like jeans for women, trying to find one size. You're not a 26. Like 26 is not universal, just like dance competitions are not universal. There's no universal score.
Can we just put all the hip hops together, all the points, because it's bouncing around, which I think for the audience gives them a false sense. So I was trying to explain, it's like Taylor's friend did an acro solo. Okay, so she's doing all these crazy flips and stuff like that. So it seems like she is better and that she's good. But Taylor's like, if you do too many flips in like a contemporary, you actually would get marks up.
Yes, you do.
So, but
and you can't do too many moves within. If you're in a jazz, you can only do 4 moves. You can't do 6.
Which really makes, I get that because you know, like the difference between like a contemporary and a jazz, they're two totally different styles of dance. But to the audience, dance is dance.
I know.
I actually even like I guess we had sent out the live stream and I had one of my brothers and his baby had caught it on time. My brother in Vermont was watching. But they all had it on their TVs.
I love that. We watched on the computer. I did appreciate that this, you know, we've been to a lot of competitions. This one in particular
had a bar.
Well, and also the music was very up tempo.
Yeah.
Like it was tempoed high. There wasn't some competitions we used to go to were all contemporary lyrical ballet, but the music was so slow. This year it was high energy. Like the energy for the dances were like,
there was a lot of, someone pointed out there was a lot of rock.
Yeah, just crazy high intensity music, and I was like, that's a lot more engaging than the contemporary, lyrical, because it can get, you want to like itch your eyes out because you're like, I cannot listen to one more ballad. I can't do it where you look like your leg's broken and your arm's broken and you're running around the stage. I can't do it. I cannot do it again.
You can't go back and watch the live stream, can you?
I don't know.
Oh, because and I also love like all the hip hop remixes. Hip hop is so good.
Oh my God. It was
I love watching our girls do hip hop. I wanted to eat Chloe. She was so good and into it, and she had swag.
She's like, it doesn't come naturally for me.
Oh my God, it does.
I think it actually came very naturally for you.
The faces were perfect timing. They weren't weird. It was like, I could have eaten her that. I was so in love with her during that dance.
It was really cute. I was like I really appreciated that dance. Like I appreciated her. I'm like, wow, you're actually, you're
putting on a character.
So mean, but like sometimes you can watch. Okay. Let's just say this for a second.
Yeah.
It's like, your kid has more.
Yeah.
Okay. And they're holding back.
Yeah.
So you don't really appreciate the dance because you're kind of like, you just did the dance.
Yeah.
You didn't actually do the dance.
Yeah.
You just did the dance. You did the steps that you know how to do.
Yeah.
You didn't actually like juice it.
Yeah.
On Saturday, I saw her juice so much more than I've ever seen her juice. In hip hop, she was juicing, and I was like, I appreciate watching you
juice it.
Put so much energy into what you're doing because it's not as fun.
Yeah.
I tried to explain this to her. Like, I was so proud of how much you gave because I think what she said was, it's embarrassing.
Yeah, I know.
So to actually be so extra,
yes,
it's
And
embarrassing.
I totally was like,
get
that
because her dance teacher was like, "Why the hell do you not do this?"
Yeah,
she's like, "It's embarrassing when everyone's watching you." And I was like, "Oh, but that's what it's like. You're acting."
Yeah,
but it's hard.
Yes,
to be embarrassed, so vulnerable because the faces they have to make you guys is like the more facial expressions they have, the kind of like higher ranked you are, and it's like they're
the only problem I have in those situations is it's like you all have to do it, or you all don't have to do it, because if you've got that one who's all in and then the other one is a straight face, it's really.
And there's this one little girl at her dance studio who's actually the owner's daughter, who's so her faces, her swagger, I actually could watch her. I could watch her dance all day because
I didn't see her.
They were many under fives or something. But I was watching, and it's like sometimes she just wouldn't know the dance, and then she would be like, but like she just didn't care, and then she was like, but watch me, and her faces, and I was like, I'm dying right now at your faces. They were so cute. But when they're blank, they're very distracting when they don't actually give you anything.
Yes,
because they're thinking.
And so you're worried about them because you're like, oh my gosh, are they going to screw up? Are they nervous? Or because you can't feel nervous for the dancer.
No. So when they know the dances, when their faces are going properly, like when they're giving their faces, they're not thinking.
Yes.
So when she was giving her, she was like, I was actually so impressed by her. This was the first competition where I watched her grow from Friday to Saturday so intensely, like so much that I was like, oh, look how much you have in there. Go. I hope they keep the momentum of, you got to get in there. Go.
Yeah.
Go. Give that 100%.
They were inspired. I'm looking at it from like, obviously like our girls aren't going to like dance for the rest of their life. Just kind of like every sport anyone plays, it's going to end. But like watching, like my daughter's been dancing for a lot of years. She was so she gets so nervous, but she was so nervous for one of her dances. Not to mention, she probably had 12 people there watching her, which is a lot and overwhelming, but she was so nervous. And I was like, in my head, I'm trying to make her feel better. I'm like, this is me.
No one's watching you anyway.
I go, no one's watching you. And I go, it's not like you're not going to get paid. It's not, for me, I'm like, I'm making money. Like, you're not going to not get paid. Like, it's not for money. And it's also not for, oh, there's something else. And I'm like, so you're kind of like, just remind yourself, you do this for fun.
Oh my God, totally.
So like, if you like, you're beating yourself up about it for nobody. And then one of the girls I was driving, and she's like, I feel like I'm being forced to dance. And I told her mom this, and she was like, what'd she say? And I was like, by who? And she's like, myself. It's like I'm forcing myself to do this. Oh my God, I hate this. Oh, they go, oh, why do we do this? Why do we even do this? I don't even like it. I don't know what.
This was soccer.
Yeah.
This is how we quit soccer, because I was so sick of that conversation. I was like, then don't do this anymore. I'm not making you fucking quit. I don't care.
And then they go, and they're just so proud of themselves after. It's like this stupid teenager like
now
conversation.
Now that every weekend.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
You're like, just quit. Because
I kind of, this. But and then they're so proud of themselves. But what do I think? Like, there are so many important skills that they're getting from dance, putting themselves under pressure and then performing and feeling good about themselves. Being in front of a bunch of people, like being on a stage with all those eyeballs, like you are taking life lessons.
No, I know.
And I didn't see
getting judged, feedback with your score on the stage. Your score's out loud in front of everybody.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
And then they go listen.
They know
to
what
the
everyone
audio
else got.
of the judging you. They can listen to it after of the like your dance as you're doing it,
and then you have to change it.
I can't believe what blows my mind is I have rarely seen anybody fuck up, or I always imagine that someone will go on and their mind will go blank, like during a solo.
Yeah,
I didn't see any fuck ups.
Well, you would never know, because
I know
we don't know their dances.
But I mean, like, go blank, run off, cry, like.
Oh no, like, they run those dances so many times.
I know.
You could. I mean, they get like, they don't do a triple, they do a single.
Mm-hmm.
We would never know that.
But even that's what I always tell them.
They're way harder on themselves.
How are we ever going to know that?
You know, the difference between hockey and dances, or like a team sport, is that dance is a team sport in a way, but what they have to do is they get critiqued individually. I guess you do in other sports too, but my husband told me there's no better reality show than live sports, because you never know what's going to happen. Like, they have a set, they practice, but the puck's still going to go kind of where it's going to go. And that's why goals are like so insane. Certain goals are like when something crazy happens in baseball, because you can't really predict what's going to happen. With dance, it's like they practice so much that they only get one shot. Like, they don't get to go back out on the next shift. They don't get to go back out. They
can't make it up.
They can't go tomorrow and try again. They can't go and practice their shot to get harder. It's like they get one shot to do this, and I feel like they feel that pressure going on, that they know it's like they have to practice that much so their body knows what it's doing without thinking, and there's no room for error. And I think that when they go out there, they're almost the toughest athletes, because they mentally have. If you told yourself, I only get one shot, you can imagine how in your head you would be, but they don't. It's like they don't have that mentality of like, and if you're in a group and you fuck up, it's like you're the goalie who let in who scores on themselves. It's like you let your whole group down by being one person.
And Taylor's like, it all happens in that moment. And she's like, if you fuck up, it's like you want to go and you want to show them the 100 times that you did it perfect, but you don't get to show them that.
Nope. It's like if you do your aerial 1,000,000 times, but you'll put your hands down, you lose because of that. But I think you have to look at the bigger picture of like you said, the skills you're gaining, because you have to dance because you love it, not because of what score you get, because every competition is also different and every judge is different, and you don't know what they're looking for, and you don't even know if they actually catch everything, because they could look down. Like,
they could go for a snack.
No, they don't leave the seat.
They could go for a snack.
Like, they could just get distracted for a second and then
miss something fabulous.
Or miss something to fuck up. So it's like you're counting on 4 people to give you feedback with their own experience of what they've appreciated or not appreciated. And then you have to go and they have to get all their feedback and redo it. So the people are like, oh, it's dance. Holy shit, it's dance. And cheer has a lot more wiggle room for error. Scary. But they don't have to have perfect legs, perfect arms. Like, there's different appreciations or different goals, if you will. Like, dance, I would say, is one of the hardest critiqued sports where you're half naked, you have no clothes on,
that's
your
another
boobs
thing.
are out.
That's another thing.
Like you have to change naked
being
backstage.
comfortable in your body and not having clothes on. I feel like dancer girls, and I'm sure there's a lot of dancer girls who have a lot of body issues, but being backstage, just watching all these girls just get naked in front of each other. At my age, at that age, I never would have even like taken
and their
my
bodies
top
are
off.
changing.
Yeah,
and they're like,
and they've got hair,
and they don't wear underwear in their costume. The whole thing is wild.
It's wild.
So we're at this is the like, so we're in a new dance school, and Chloe's in like the team really bonds over competitions. When you go to competitions, like you get into a new level of like togetherness. So they're warming up, and this sweet girl who I love so much walks out, and she looks a little stressed, and I don't know why I'm backstage, but I'm like around backstage, and she's like, do you know where the teacher is? And I'm like, oh. She's like, call Vanessa. Miss Vanessa, Chloe's pants ripped in the vagina area.
Did she say vagina area?
Yeah.
Had a girl.
And she's not wearing underwear. Okay, they're about to go on in like.
Did Chloe know?
Yes, because she went to go do needle,
but like, why did the friend tell the teacher and not? Chloe?
Well, I guess she went to go get help because Chloe couldn't walk. So Chloe's in needle, and her friend, she's in a trio, and her trio partner looks down and is like, "Oh my God, your vagina's out."
What did Chloe say?
She was so good.
Oh, good.
So she like, I see another person walking her out. She's shuffling with her. She's not wearing underwear, and and she's not wearing underwear. Like we're like at a level 1,000 panic right now. Okay, like this is a panic on the disco because they're about to go on. So we're like, so teacher's like, okay, can you go get your mom, because her mom had a sewing kit. So goes gets her mom. We're like, and her mom's like, do you want me to sew her with her pants still on or off? I'm like, we're gonna take the pants off since her vagina's out right now, and I'm going to make it easy. Thank you for asking, but we're taking the pants off. So the pants come off.
Could you imagine she'd just be laying there with her legs up?
Oh my God. And we're sewing the two splits, and they're like, try not to rush them on, but we don't have a lot of time to go back out there again. So she's like, the teacher's like, so do we have underwear? And Chloe's like, you told me not to wear underwear. And they're like, okay, do we have tights? No tights. She's like, okay. So
did they sew it?
They sewed it we sewed it 2 times, and then we're just like, listen, if it splits, it splits again. Just keep going. Sweet angel gets on the stage. No, they start falling off because they're too.
Those pants.
They're not fitting her properly. So not only so it's her first trio, like second time on, the pants are. She basically goes and moves, and you can see them, like basically her butt's out. Like she's like, they're falling down. So she has to pull them back up again. She couldn't finish her move because she goes to do a walkover, and she can't go down because she's like, my ass is going to fly out.
I was so nervous that her butt was going to fall out.
I mean, she was too. And I was like, you actually did a great job focusing on the fact that your ass was hanging out, but you're like yanking them with.
It's a crazy learning curve. And I asked Taylor, I'm like, have you ever danced in your costumes?
No.
Okay, well, that's something you should always do.
Yeah.
Like that's the one thing. One other thing about that dance comp is they had some judge flying from Brazil,
Germany,
Berlin.
Yeah.
And the other competitions when the people go and speak, and they're like, you girls are amazing, and I just want to say you're hard, and they're really like positive and excited. The both times that I saw her come on stage, she gave actual feedback to take home
of what the judges are looking for. So each judge came on between each one and is like, this is what we want from you. So go and do this.
She gave a really good piece of advice near the end. And it was like, I see a lot of you coming on, and I told Taylor this, and you can tell Chloe too. And you come to do your solo, and the first, like, I don't know what percent, like 20%, you are giving like so much. And then you're like, okay, I'm here and I'm doing it. And then you sort of like ease up and you go through your routine. And she's like, here's my advice. Do your solo full out, and then immediately do it again. And she's like, then you'll do it when you've already done it. And if whatever it was. I can't remember, but do your solo full on after you already done it full on.
So do it double full on.
Yeah.
Like don't give it 100% the whole time.
Yeah, but do it. Yeah. Yeah. But I think she actually said stop halfway through and start again. In your mind. That's a lot to do.
Natalie, hold on a second. Let's go
I
again.
think she said, do your,
like, does she want them to like enjoy it, not just do it?
she wants you to like in your, after the first entrance, now play in your head that you're just beginning, even though you're halfway through.
Oh, got it. Keep it going. Keep
it going.
Keep
But
the
act
energy.
like you just got there when you're halfway through.
Got it.
She's like, practice it like that in your head. Oh, I'm sure. Oh, God, that was barely hard for me to articulate. I wonder if the girls got that. I'll have to say that again,
man. Anyways,
but I like that she gave something to take home with.
I can't wait to the next dance competition.
Are we together?
No,
am I really there on a Wednesday?
not this one. Not in Niagara. No,
But we're not in Niagara together, and it's a sleepover place.
we're on. I'll explain after. But yeah, no, it's we're there, but I'm not there. I don't go Saturday. You go Saturday. I go Sunday. I go Friday, Sunday. I go Thursday, Sunday. You go.
How do I get there, Grandma?
Yeah, it is a definite learning curve. And I will say that if you are I know this has been a lot about dance, wow, but it's
good. It's, I mean, there's, this will be for the dance moms, but also just I feel like we think and talk a lot about our boys sports because they're in our face all the time.
Yeah, and I will say that, in terms of what I think the biggest take home for me has been is things don't, I just like in AAA hockey and AA hockey and in soccer, we normalize behavior because we think that's just how it is. So teachers yelling and screaming and making your kids feel bad, coaches, having bad behavior on the bench, that's not normal. And if we let it be normal, or if we don't push back on that behavior, we continue to like pass the torch of what is acceptable behavior, because you can be a good coach and not abuse the kids on anything. You can make kids feel good about themselves while they're in sports. And a lot of people, when I was talking about that on Instagram today, said, we had to leave dance because of the culture.
I thought before we went into dance, all I heard was that the dance culture was so like rigorous and hard. And I didn't watch those dance shows, but that's what that was like, right? They were
really aggressive. And the teachers like, if you're not being yelled at, you're not going to get better. And if you're not if you're not made to feel,
it's like authoritarian parenting.
Yeah, it is. It's really
not the only way to do it.
Yeah, and I think that there's studios that allow your children to have fun and dance. I don't think any sport should be, not every kid's going to respond really well to a very strict environment. And I think some kids do, and that's fine. But I think for majority of kids who you want to keep them in the sport, it should be fun, and punitive needs to go, because the punitive, even like the rules, like some dance studios, like if you miss 3 classes, you're losing your solo. If your kid is sick or has an exam,
or something really important,
it doesn't mean that they're not committed. They're there for this amount of hours. If it's a pattern, different. Yeah. Like and often it's the families who are making the decisions, not even the kids, but we're punishing the kids. Yeah. And I just think that, we have to continue to push back on what's acceptable for the kids and for
the poor kids. And with hockey too, if they miss it, then they get benched. But they didn't want to miss it. Their parents made them go somewhere.
Yeah.
I if nobody has time, there's not enough dance schools probably for everyone to consider all these things. But when I think about the kind of like family and the kind of parenting you have, if you can find a style studio that has that same sort of, because if you think of those really like strict and like dance schools like that, a lot of them might have parents like that.
I heard someone who at one of the studios we know, the daughter had broken her foot. And she wasn't like dancing like the hunt that was this was like last week. And she was like getting berated, like why, like what the hell is wrong with you, like dance is serious. And then she goes and gets an x-ray and her foot was broken. That's why she couldn't give her 100%, because her foot was fucking broken. Okay, she came to dance because she was too afraid to miss dance, but her foot was broken and she went after the next day to thing. And I was like, we need to give these children a
little compassion,
grace, and understand they're growing, they're going through puberty, they're balancing school, they're balancing friends. And every sport, yes, it can be competitive, but it can also be supportive, and it can also be kind and compassionate and hardcore.
And if your kid is coming home crying and sad, like
don't do it
more than one time.
Also, that's on you as a parent to allow it, because you're teaching them how to be treated.
Yeah.
So if you're letting them be treated badly, that's on you. And I can't imagine where that's going to take them in life if they're feeling like this is how you are successful, is by being abused. Like in a very, and I don't mean to throw that word around, but my shoulder's tight, but in a very bosses will do it to them. What's acceptable to them will become their norm, and they don't have any life experience to be like, oh, that shouldn't have happened. They're going to grow up and be like, I can't believe my parents sat by
and
watch that happen.
And if you have a kid and you don't actually know if they're feeling that way, ask them, because not all kids will just openly talk. But how do you feel when you're there? Like, do you feel like you're being respected? Because in a situation that I had, the girls shared with their parents, and their parents immediately were like, this is another word for abuse.
Yeah, we don't need to be there.
We will not stand for this.
No, we won't. And I think though that in sports we do allow it.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, well, that's just how it is. I'm so sick of that conversation. That's just how it is. No, that's not how it should be. You're not being yelled at because you lost a game and screamed at when you already are upset. They're upset. You don't need to go and lose. Not that I don't have, my kids, thank God, don't have this. I have amazing coaches right now. But I would not sacrifice my kids' mental health for a first place team.
No.
Ever.
No.
Or level. Or anything.
No.
But people do, because the teams are full. You know what I mean? I think it's getting better though.
Oh, good.
Like, I do think parents are beginning to be like, fuck this.
Good, yes.
Like, you're a grown adult. Stop throwing a temper tantrum on the bench. They would be expelled if they would be kicked out of the team if they did that on the ice. A referee would say to that kid, you can't even like slap your stick. It's poor sportsmanship. But the dude on the bench can scream and yell and throw a hissy fit.
It is so embarrassing when a grown man has a hissy fit at a kid's hockey game.
Oh my God.
I'm embarrassed. You should be so embarrassed.
You should be embarrassed. You should be
You
embarrassed.
need to get yourself a life, and you should be embarrassed. We're going to end this on that.
So yeah, see y'all later.